Welcome to my homemade floral shop. We are getting ready for my daughter's wedding, and we are doing a lot of the flowers ourselves. We have been tasked with, or I have been tasked with doing a bunch of centerpieces. Um, it gets pretty expensive, so we're trying to do some of the things on our own. So, my daughter wanted something very specific. She wanted some ginger jars, but she also wanted uh, peonies, hydrangeas, certain flowers that are just not really available during the heat of the summer. She's having her reception in August, and we're in Utah, so peonies do not work in August, and neither do hydrangeas. And so you have to fly them in from Alaska or somewhere else, and it gets really super expensive. So we started planning this once we found out she was getting married. We went to at home and started getting our flowers. They're just silk flowers. Some of them are kind of like a real touch when you touch them. They have a little bit of a rubber feel to them, so they feel like the actual flower. But we ended up getting these on sale. So if you plan ahead enough, a lot of these flowers, instead of costing like $10, they were more like $2. So everything that you see here we bought on sale. Now, here's where we're starting. So how do you start doing this? This is our method. So the venue that the reception is going to be at is a really big yard. It's a full acre. So the back is where the reception itself is going to be. It's going to be mostly, it's probably close to a half acre, 3/4 of an acre that we've got to fill. This doesn't look like a lot of flowers. I mean, it looks like a lot here, but it really isn't going to fill that much of that big yard. But what we started with, this is a very rudimentary diagram of kind of where this is all grass, and she wants a dance floor. So we're going to be doing party lights across the dance floor, doing a couple things that are hanging from there. And then like the tables and chairs, there's going to be a buffet here. Tables and chairs are going to go over here underneath a big pavilion. And so anyway, I've just kind of done a rudimentary drawing, but now I have been tasked with how to arrange these flowers. So she wants basically these peonies and hydrangeas, and she wants them in a ginger jar look. So we've just kind of been collecting different ideas that, even though these may not be perfect ginger jars, they're going to do the trick. They're just very similar. We have a whole bunch of big ones, small ones. And the idea is we're just going to start placing some of these silk flowers just in the vases. It shouldn't be too much work. It's just a matter of knowing how to do it. So the first thing we're going to do, I did find a bunch of these pre-made hoops, which is going to make it so much easier. So we've already got some pink, and then here's some white. And in some places over the dance floor, I'm actually just going to combine both of these and twist them together to make this. So this will be hanging over the dance floor in between a bunch of lit up lanterns plus party lights. So we'll show you how all of this goes together throughout the event and how we're kind of planning it. But this is the beginning stages of the floral shop and how we're going to put all of this together. And so anyway, we've got a couple ideas. We're going to throw them together. We'll keep you updated as we go along, and kind of how I figure out how to arrange these flowers, so you'll know how to do it yourself without having to pay so much for a florist. Okay, so we were really lucky to find that, like I said, all of these flowers came from At Home. They're online if they don't have one near you, but they are nationwide, so there's stores everywhere. But a lot of this stuff, even if it's on clearance in the store, it's going to be on clearance online. So they just have just oodles and doodles of these everywhere. So this is what they had in stock in last year, so 2023 is when they were carrying these. I don't know what they have right now, but I would assume we're in June now. Things are going to be going on sale again in the next month or two when you can start picking these up. But here's my idea. We got these two hoops. One thing to think about, these normally sold for about $10, just the regular price. Once they went on sale, I want to say we paid maybe $2 a piece for these. So I'm just going to combine these just like that to make it a little bit thicker so that if it does swing around, because they are going to be hanging, there'll be some flowers on all sides instead of just seeing some back. It'll just make it a little bit more flow. So how am I going to do it? I'm just going to put them together like this, and it is super easy. I'm just taking some of this little crafting wire, and I'm just going to, it's like the little twisty tie thing. I've got a little wire clippers. I'm just going to clip off a little section like that, and then once I get them kind of lined up where the hooks are together, I am just going to take the wire, and I'm going to try and hide it, but I'm just going to do the old twisty tie. So you can kind of see what I'm doing here to hold them together. I'm just going to take it like that, do the old twisty tie until it's nice and tight, and then just kind of tuck these down, and you won't see those. So I'll do that on both sides. Make sure that they're lined up. I'll do that same thing over on this side. A little bit of wire. Clip it. And then we'll just kind of start twisting it like this. And then kind of tuck it down. Now that thing is held together really good, and all you need is just a few of them. So just to hide them, I'm just going to slide them down kind of into this part of the hoop, and you won't even see them. This up here is going to have a rope going through it, and so that'll hold that together. And that's as easy as that was. It makes it a lot more full. So now I have several of these that I can just start hanging up in between some hanging lanterns and some different things. But anyway, that's how you do that. Super simple, super easy, and it's all done for you. So we are currently assembling some of the centerpieces, and so I'm going to show you kind of how I'm doing it. It's not very difficult to do. I'm just kind of throwing them in there. I'm going to try and show you how I created this one, and just kind of give you the idea of how it works. So I'm going to use just some of the dry foam, and the reason I'm going to do that is I'm going to place it down inside the vase, and then this will hold the flowers, the stems. As I'm putting it in, it'll kind of hold it into place. So I'm just going to take one of these, and the top of this is pretty narrow, so I'm not going to be able to fit too much in there. So I'm just going to just kind of measure a little bit, kind of score it, so I know that is about how much will fit in there. So I'm just going to take just a knife and cut through the foam. After we get that cut, then it's going to be just a little bit big still, but the foam is very easy to just kind of force it in there. I want it bigger than smaller, so we'll just go ahead and stick that right on in there. And so now if you look down there, we've got a block in there to work with. Okay, that is where all the stems are going to actually go into, and hopefully that will hold on to them. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with, I like to start with the tallest ones and then kind of work my way down, just so it's easier to cut, because once you cut this, then that's the length it's going to be. So what we need is just some, I like to use lineman pliers. These are kind of like for electricians and stuff, but they have a wire cutter right there, and these are just a little bit easier to work with. Or you can also use, this kind of a snip. This one here, I think it's harder to use, so I like to use the lineman's pliers. But let's go ahead and get started. So we'll start with, I lay out all the flowers that I'm going to be using. So these are all the flowers that we're going to need. And like I said, I'm going to start with the tallest. And you don't have to make it exactly like this. If we want to, actually maybe we'll switch it and make the tall one white on this one, since we're going to have several of them. So I'm just going to kind of move these out just a little bit from the stem, so I can kind of, all of a, just now we've started getting some dimension to it. Now if I want it to be about the same height as that, we'll just kind of hold it, like this up against the table, and I know that foam is in there about this height. So I'm just going to use my finger to mark it, and then I'll use the lineman's pliers, and I just snip it off like that, and then that gives me a pretty close height. So I'm going to just go ahead and insert this right into that foam. And you can hear it kind of go in there. Now, that is going to hold this into place, but we're going to continue to add, and that'll start filling in to make it tighter around the neck. So we'll go ahead and start now with the next one. This is a clumping of 3. I'm going to kind of do the same thing. I might manipulate this just a little bit more, just so that these, come out a little bit different in different heights and different levels. So I'll kind of do the same thing. Like I said, it's better to cut it long in case you have to come back and shorten it a little bit, but I'm going to go right there just to give me some height difference. We'll do the same thing. I'll cut that out, and now I'm going to stick this in. And you can kind of hear it going into the foam just like that. So you can see that I'm already starting to get some different levels here in heights. So I'm going to just kind of intertwine some of these just so it starts to fill in. And you can see, you start getting, maybe we'll leave that one like that because I've got more flowers to put in. But just by kind of working with them like that, now I've got kind of the same height going, but different colors, and it's already starting to fill in just a little bit. So now these other ones, these are just individual that I'm just going to find a place and stick it in. So this right here, let's do some white in here, and I kind of want to go in between those. So I'll just kind of, my fancy measuring technique here of just kind of based on the table and where the base is. So we'll go ahead and clip that on also. Now I've got this height to work with, and I'll just kind of start sticking this down, and then you'll hear it go into the foam. And what's great is if that's a little bit high, I can always kind of manipulate the stem too, and bend it and mold it where I want it. So if it's still a little tall, I think that's a little tall, I'm going to actually pull it back out, and we're going to snip it just a little bit more. I want it to just be a little bit smaller than that, so I'll just clip an inch off of this, and then we'll try putting it back in. So once I get it kind of in the area I want, you hear it kind of go in the foam, and that's a much better height on that. If you see anything like that come off, the good thing is these all, usually on the back side you'll find the little peg on where it would have come off, and you can just stick it back in. This one is so far down it's not gonna matter. But if anything does come off, they just go right onto these little plastic pegs, just like that. But that one was so down in there that really didn't matter. Okay, so now we're back in business here, and we just need to fill in a couple more of these pink ones. So I'm just kind of go around and see where it needs a little bit more. We'll just throw one in right here, kind of the same thing. Maybe I'll go a little lower, that would actually look better. So I'll just clip this one. Just like that. And kind of the same thing, you'll just kind of go until you find the foam. Just like that. You hear it go into the foam. And what's nice about having the foam is, like I said, once it's in there, you see it's starting to hold itself pretty well. So now I'm just going to manipulate all these different flowers to give me some different heights. The greenery, just kind of bend it, get it out of the way. And so now I want to do a little bit more height. This is not the greatest flower, so I'm going to find a different one in my pack here. And because that one's kind of floppy, I don't like the look of that.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Let's do this one. I always take the tags off. I do not like having the tags. If anybody does look at your work, they will always see that. So this will be a good one right here because that'll fill in that whole area. So I'm going to do kind of the same thing, my handy dandy measurement. We'll clip this one. What's nice about this one has a couple to give us a little bit more in there. So you just kind of get it on in there. Hear it go into the foam. Once I find the foam, there we go. Okay, so then that starts to fill in. So this one here where we started, it looks a little high. So there's a couple things that we can do. I'm going to pull this guy back out, and that was just a little too high. So I'm going to cut about 1 inch off of this. Okay, so that's a little bit better height now, and so now it's just a matter of kind of moving them around a little bit, making them, and you can twist them around like I said. That gives it a little bit more dimension and makes it way more full, and just kind of keep working them like that. And some of this green, maybe we'll stuff it down. So kind of hide it a little bit, I don't know. But anyway, that in a sense is all that we're doing to create that. It's not that hard. Just play with it. Don't be afraid to, if you don't like something, just pull it out and reclip it, kind of like what you saw me do. But this is definitely something that we can just kind of throw just on either a buffet table or somewhere, on a side table or Okay, so what we're doing with all of the bigger centerpieces, we want to make sure that they have a little bit of the same thing in each one of them. So I'm just kind of going through what we purchased, the different hydrangeas that we have. Some are a little bit different than the others, but we just want to make sure that each of the big ones have at least a representation of the same kind. So I'm just kind of separating them out into all the different vases, and then I'll be able to start piecing in with all the rest of the flowers that we have purchased, just to kind of put it all together. But just so that we don't run out or I don't use too many of one thing, I'm just separating them out into all the different vases, and we'll go from there. Okay, so we're getting into this. The centerpieces getting a little bit further along, and so I didn't run out of flowers. I took all of the vases that we had left, and I kind of wanted to have these all a little bit similar, but then kind of have them all unique on their own. So what I have done is, with all the flowers that I had remaining, I took each one of the flowers and just kind of put them into their vase, just like that, without cutting or anything. I'm just placing, each vase gets the same amount of so many pinks, so many whites, so many hydrangeas, so many peonies, and then after I'm done with that, you can see my kind of assembly line. I've done the same thing with these vases back here. They're not placed yet, but they're just at least in their vase, so I don't run out of flowers, and don't do one too big or one not big enough. So then in this little trio, we have a couple different vases here. So we've got a big one. I wanted that one to be the biggest centerpiece because that one's going to go like on the buffet table. This one here, we're not sure where everything's going to go yet, but this one is kind of the next, and then the small. So we've got kind of like a small, medium, large thing going, but with the same type of flowers. The bigger ones, I put some of these some of the different sticks and like the eucalyptus and the pussy willows in there, just to kind of give it a little bit of a different look than just what we have here with the smaller ones. So anyway, that's kind of where we're at with the kind of moving things along, and yeah, so that's kind of where we're going. I'm going to use these as examples to finish the rest of them. So now that I've got them put together, I'll just when I'm working on like this next one will be this guy. I'll leave this right here so I can just basically copy what I did. Okay, so I just have kind of a storage room, and then I just kind of cleared off some of these shelves. And you can see I just kind of threw these in the shelves just so that I have a place for them and they're kind of out of the way and they're not going to get broken. All of the lids, so all the vases that we already did, I just left the lids just in these sacks, just up on that shelf so that they're not going to get ruined. But this is the remaining. I think we have like 6 of those. There's like 3 of those. I have a really big pot there. We might put some natural flowers in it. We're not sure what we're going to do with that, but it just was something we came across. We actually have 2 of those, and then just a bunch of those. So like I said, they're various heights. We'll probably put 2 or 3 of them together, mix and match them, just throw them in different areas. Okay, so the assembly line worked pretty good. I showed you how I had all the flowers just kind of individually placed in all the vases. When you put them together, it's amazing that, once you cut them, basically all I did is I took, if this was the flower, I just kind of held it up next to the table here about the height that I wanted. And then I just grabbed my finger, grabbed my pliers, hit snip, and just stuck it in. When you first start putting it in, they just kind of are loose. But the more you shove in there, the more it just starts getting pretty compact. It's actually really easy to just start pushing, shoving, just get them in there. And I just kind of, all of them are a little bit different. Some of them are a little bit better spaced out. Some of them, just kind of how it turned out. So that's the deal with these. So we got all of those done. I had a few left over, and I had a smaller vase. So we just took the same flowers. We had whatever was left. We just cut them down to fit this one. Same exact way that we did it. I just threw it all in there, same way. These now, we have a whole bunch of these, and we've been trying to decide how best to utilize these. So a lot of them we're just going to place out and around in different places, whether it's on the buffet table or the guest book, different things like that. We'll just do like a little clumping of different jars. But these ones, we bought this little clump of flowers, and it came just like this. And so I got some white ones and I got some pink ones. And what we did is we broke them apart and just separated them out, and then just kind of combined them so that we have some white and pink together. These, like I said, they already came in a little pack just like this. So it was pretty easy to just, break them apart. And then the idea is we're just going to throw them inside of these, and there's not really a whole lot to do. However, you can see that they're up just a little bit high. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these and I'm going to clip a little bit, like maybe an inch off of each one of these. And I'm just going to take my little lineman pliers again, and I'm just going to clip off an inch or so, make them level or even. So I'm just going to clip all of those off. And then once these are done, it should fit in that jar way better, and there won't be any spacing between the jar and the flowers. So it'll look a little bit better. And like I said, these ones are super easy to do, because all you have to do is you just get them in the clump. We'll just throw them in there and just kind of let them be. And as you can see, they fit very nice in there. That is as easy as it gets. So I am going to do the exact same thing with this one. I'm just going to kind of see they're way high. So what I'm going to do, get them just kind of in a little bit of a clump again. And while I'm holding them, I'll just do the same thing. I'll take about an inch off of each one of them. And if these end up being too long, then I'll clip them again. But if they're too short, it won't matter, because it will stay up on top because that's such a narrow neck. So like I said, I don't really do a whole lot of fancy measuring. I just Go like that. Throw it in there, and then there you go. So that is what we're doing for our centerpieces. We have a lot of different varieties of them. I think we've been showing a few of those. So once they're done, we just kind of put them into a corner. This is a corner that has very low traffic in our house, so we're just going to just leave them like this. And then we'll just very carefully transport each one of these in the cars over to the actual venue. Okay, so thank you for watching and seeing just kind of the basic way of how to put together a centerpiece. It's really not that hard, and like I said, don't be afraid to play around with it. If you can't really mess them up, so if you cut one a little too short, no big deal. Just put that one towards the bottom and just kind of rearrange and play around with them. It's surprising how easy it is once you just start throwing things together. So hopefully this makes sense, and this was at least what we decided to do to save a little bit of money doing our own. The fact that they are silk flowers, they will last for a long time, and we actually are planning on giving away some of these just to some who are helping, you know, just little gifts here and there. So some of these centerpieces, if nothing else, the vase is really pretty, and just giving those away as some of our gifts to give away. So anyway, that's kind of our idea. So thank you so much for sticking out to the end. If you did like this, please give us a like. It really helps our channel out, and we appreciate it so much. And think about subscribing. So until next time, thank you so much. We have more to come for wedding. We have other wedding videos and kind of what we did for other areas of the wedding. So anyway, thanks so much, and check out those other videos, and we'll see you next time.